guys gotta hear what I'm jamming to. Hey. Oh my god, it's raining so hard outside. Hey. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Gio. This is my guest today.
Yo, what's up? My name's Dylan. You know, bring you a lot of peace, a lot of love, a lot of harmony. You know, I'm glad to be here.
I love that, bro.
Hell yeah.
Yo, one thing, we did not plan this outfit.
Hey,
it's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. I'm
red
not gonna
on
lie.
blue.
This, bro. Hey, great minds think alike. You know.
Great minds think alike, bro.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your journey as an artist.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm still like pretty new to the whole art world.
Yeah.
In a sense, relatively. You know, I go around. And since we're in art school, you see all of these, achieved scholarly, grand artists, doing murals for these multi-million-dollar companies, or you have someone that has like, a teaching job at a specific or a very like high scholarly institution. Me and my art, I guess, path. This is only my second year doing art. Really grateful for all the things that I've learned, all the things that I've yet to achieve, but I'm really like enjoying it so far. Art in general, just being here at SCAD has made me appreciate the form, not just visual art, but all types of art in all different types of ways. So I've really been appreciating it a lot more. I've definitely fucked with just art in general. Just wanting to grow and get better. It's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a really long journey.
A really long journey?
Yeah.
So like, when did you go to art high school or no?
Nah. I went to a little school called Miller Grove. It's kind of a meme now, but
okay. Is it in Atlanta?
It's not. It's literally like a little bit outside of the city, maybe like 30, 40 minutes away. It's a Title I school, so not the best school. Not the most resources there. I didn't even take an art class in there now that I'm thinking about it. My focus in high school was more towards sports. I was doing more track and football, things of that nature.
Got you.
Art was just like a little secondary thing that, I always had the skills, to develop, but I never really put it in the, the foreground,
Yeah.
But it was kind of on a whim for me to apply to SCAD. One of my photography buddies recommended it to me. He did photography for the school, and I think he has his own studio now. But he recommended SCAD to me, and I've always heard about it, but I've never really looked into it. But once I had that first visit, boy, blown away.
It's really beautiful, right?
Away.
It's like when you walk around the school, you see the art on the wall, especially our floor.
Yeah.
The painting floor, when you get up there and like you see the different things that people are working on, like it's super inspiring.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself like, damn, like I want to have stuff on this floor. Like I want to be involved and meet these people and like see what's really going on.
Right. And from that visit, I decided to test myself to see how far I can develop my skills before I decide to apply. I wanted to see if I could get somewhere close. I don't want to be directly on the level at the point because I'm still in high school.
Yeah.
But I wanted to
what
really
age was
hone.
This? Like when you were when you took a little tour, right?
Yeah, I think this is the winter, like literally like around January, February of 2022, so super late. I'm graduated in the class of 2022, so graduation is about like 4 or 5 months down the road. And I'm just now touring like one of my final schools, about to make the big decision for myself. But something about just the atmosphere, the friendly faces, the people I met while here at the school taking a visit, just changed my whole perspective on, this is what I want to do. I want to develop this. How do I get to the level that I see these higher scholars at?
Right.
So, you know, I definitely did a lot of practice. You know, the summer of 2022, you know, I just started just busting my ass, just drawing portrait after portrait, you know, honing in, you know, what works, what doesn't work, what I want to basically focus on for my works, what I want to have a portfolio of to submit to SCAD in order to get accepted. You know, like I said, backtracking a little bit, I didn't take art classes in high school, but I did go to this one, I guess it's like a development center for art. It's called Sproul Art Center. Shout out Sproul. It's Indicator, you know, if you know, you know. But
the summer.
Yeah, it was a little summer class.
Yeah.
But this was years back. This was about 2018, 2019, you know, a little bit like going out of middle school into high school. Just a little something to do over the summer, but from there, I used the skills that I developed over there in those summer classes, and I guess just pushed it even further, you know, with the charcoal and the graphite, you know, making a jump into color with colored pencils, pastels, oil pastels, all of that.
You really experimented.
Yeah, and so eventually just doing painting, you know, only like a couple of years ago, and now I'm at the point where I'm at now. You know? It's definitely been a journey. Definitely.
So would you say like painting is your favorite medium?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, painting has been my sun, moon, and stars for the past like,
sheesh,
I don't even know how long.
Sun, moon, and stars.
It has been everything. I'm not gonna lie. I started with watercolor, but usually whenever I tell people that, they're like, watercolor? That's so. Why would you start with watercolor? I'm not gonna lie, I've just been inspired by a whole lot of people. So I knew this animator named L. He graduated from SCAD about 2 years ago, and he had a bunch of watercolor pieces, you know, beautiful. He developed like this type of style with floral, like these flower pieces. You know, lots of glazing, lots of different washes. You know, he taught me a little bit about the painting sphere and with watercolor in specific. So I just decided to take what he taught me along with what I already my prior knowledge to, you know, just art, and not even painting, but just drawing in general. And I decided to develop that into something unique. And these images, I don't know if you're gonna put images on the screen,
I forgot to mention, I'm gonna put images of his artwork on the screen. Like, so maybe should I put some TikToks too? Like,
if you want,
just like little clips,
just little,
just like
bam,
stuff
bam,
here
bam,
and there,
bam, yeah,
boom, 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 boom,
boom,
whatever.
So
you mentioned something spears though. What
spears,
is that?
I'm good. Yeah. So the spears, L also taught me about this, but I also
sick
brought
name,
it
by
from.
the way, L.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Death Note.
Yeah, the L from Death Note. Yeah. That is what it's given. But spears, L taught me this method, and also my professor Feek from freshman year taught me this method. And whenever you're learning a new type of medium, whether it be charcoal, pastel, acrylic, watercolor, with me it was watercolor, you always want to get like kind of like a value scale. You want to learn how the paint works. So first thing you want to do is to make like a little bit of a value scale, you know, from dark to lights, just, you know, play around with the paint a little bit. And from there, you do what I guess it's just spears, you know, just busting out spears, seeing how the light reacts with the spear, and just focusing on like the type of shadows that it makes, you know, trying to get the highlights and the cast shadows and the mid-tones, you know. I feel like that really develops your understanding of a medium as an artist, you know. You can do the same thing with cubes as well, along with pyramids. Yeah, like just the basic shapes.
So you're literally, when you say spears, pyramids, and boxes, you're literally like, take the brush and just that's it. I
mean, I sketch out.
Gotcha.
In some cases, I sketch out like a basic circle.
Okay.
And I just start adding values to it. I start with my mid-tones, then I go to my cast shadows, then I go back in with my highlights. Well, I guess for watercolor, you got to work from light to dark. So I guess my highlights, then mid-tones, then cast shadows last. But it's all around the same thing, you know.
Oh, it's flipped with watercolor.
Yeah, it's flipped because there's It's kind of weird the way that watercolor works. There's basically no room for error. That's why every time I tell someone I work with watercolor first, they're like, isn't that like the hardest medium? I'm like, in a sense, but once you learn it, I feel like the learning curve for all other types of mediums becomes like that much slimmer, because you already know the nuances of like what it's like to, you know, control the amount of tones that you have on a paper, you know, just trying to get multiple things done at once, rather than with acrylic, you start with just mid-tone, then the cast shadow, then the highlights. But with watercolor, you have to take account for all of that at the same time, basically, because you can, I guess, paint over watercolor, but it's really difficult. You definitely don't want to do that.
Does it dry fast or not really?
It does. It does. It dries, in my opinion, it dries quicker than acrylic in a sense. You know, there's very little room for error. Like it is insane. Like it is, like I haven't went back to it since learning it.
You've had a lot of like moments of struggle and shit.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely,
Yeah.
you know, it's probably because I didn't have that formal education of watercolor. You know, I only had like these little tidbits and tricks from L, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, YouTube University was the best university for me in that sense, you know, to learn and develop that skill. I feel like it definitely showed me a lot, not just with watercolor, but just with, I guess, all mediums as well, you know.
Damn.
Yeah.
So like, you talked a little bit about your style, you know, like how you've gone about developing your style, because that's a big thing. Like as an artist, everybody wants their own style. Like they want to be distinct, and they want, when somebody sees a piece, to be like, oh, like that's Dylan or that's Gio. You know, like how have you gone about developing your style?
It's a lot of trial and error, you know. Just figuring out what works, what's best for you, what's easiest for you, what's the most aesthetic, you know, what do you want to push forward, you know, you want to push forward glowing skin tones, you want to push forward the emotions of the figure's face, do you want to push like these wild figures and, you know, these wild poses, crazy perspectives. But, you know, for me, I really just pulled from just what inspires me in life, you know. I didn't really want to do anything too crazy for my style. I do see the world in shapes rather than colors, so if you can see like my works popping up, if it still is, then you see a lot of geometric shapes, a lot of squares, a lot of triangles, you know, along with a mix of organic shapes as well, especially in like the faces of the figures, you know. I take like a simple concept such as like shapes and I make it into something like very much unique and new, and something that pops, something that's contemporary, you know, something like you said, that people will look and be like, oh, that's Dylan's style, you know, that makes me feel like really warm, fuzzy, and, you know, good, that, you know, that has to be Dylan's work. You know, along with the shapes, I also take, you know, like these very warm tones such as your orange, your burnt sienna browns, your cadmium reds, your magentas, and I try to push, you know, just like the warmness feel of how I have an outlook on life, you know. I don't really try to create things that are too heavy on the mind, you know. I feel like my work works best when it's, you know, kind of easy, you know, because I feel like I'm an easy enough going person. So, you know, I just try to develop a style that's, you know, easiest for me to make. You know, I don't want to develop something that, you know, is like absolute hell on earth, because who wants to do that, right? You know, why develop something that's like hell on earth, that's like closer to, you know, not to bash like ultra realism, but the thing about realism is just like you can't really distinct it between artists in a way, you know. At a certain point, if something's like picture perfect, something that's like absolutely perfect, that like it looks just like real life, like where's the soul in it, you know? Like how can you tell that this is, you know, such and such work and not someone else's work, you know. So I feel like having a style is definitely very beneficial to getting noticed and building your brand and you know, having people notice you and all of that.
My thing with that, with what you just said, is like, if I'm an artist who can do like hyper realistic paintings or drawings, like I would want to put some form of like surrealism into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know, like you always hear about, I don't know, aliens or I don't know, creatures morphing into something, and then, you know, put it into some sort of like societal meaning or something like that. Like, you know, it gets deep, you know.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like,
it's just like ideas,
right? And
come
like,
to the mind.
Like, and I definitely like fuck with surrealism because, like, I feel like, in my opinion, surrealism is one of the most creative forms of art. You know, you take a concept that's like so simple and you twist and turn it, and you subvert expectations into you know, what people expect out of art. You know, you expect people to see like, oh, it's just a landscape, you know, oh, that's just like a pet or like a family portrait or something. But with surrealism, you can create something that's like far more, you know, something that can really reach people in a unique way that like people just won't really expect from, like, you know, just a common, you know, like a common like portrait artist or a landscaped artist. But, you know, I definitely have a ton of respect for surrealism, and a ton of respect for your work too, because I was looking at your page and your work is,
oh shit,
I know you're still developing, but like,
thank you, bro.
Amazing.
God
like,
damn.
Your understanding of like light and form and all of that, like, it's amazing. And color as well.
Thank you,
color
bro.
is definitely your thing. Yeah.
No, that means a lot, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll put a picture of like one of your more recent works where you turned 20, right? Recently?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, I see the, you know, you got the fork and the knife, then you got the birthday cake in front of you. Like, you know, what, did somebody take that picture?
I had my mom take it.
Yeah.
You know, shout out mom, you know.
Shout out to mom.
I just wanted to kind of create a gift to myself in a way, you know. The last couple of years has been, I mean, it's been the last couple of years, but, you know, I just wanted to take like a couple of weeks out of my birthday month, just to, you know, kind of appreciate me just coming of age, you know, just appreciation for the concept of growing up, growth, you know, whether that be physical growth, mental growth, you know. I didn't want to create a piece that kind of, I don't know how to explain it, I guess give a sense of complete utter dread, you know.
Yeah, because I see the expression that you have, you know.
Yeah, the expression is definitely, it's definitely like the, what is it called, the 1,000-year stare. It's definitely giving that. But, you know, I definitely wanted to create a space where it's like, yeah, growing up sucks, but it's something that we all have to accept, you know. Responsibilities are gonna come to all of us, you know, whether we like it or not. It's basically just whether we want to, you know, go head first into it, you know. It's like the age of growing up, the age of like taking responsibility, you know, bills, taxes, work, all of this, you know. I just kind of wanted to create something that's just like, I see me coming of age, which is me looking at the viewer. I see that, and I'm just going head first into it, you know. I'm not looking away, I'm not distracted, you know. It's me having this cake in front of me that says 20 and just looking straight forward, you know, saying, let's do this, basically. You know, like,
no, that's fire.
Yeah, that's basically like the whole concept behind it.
That's beautiful perspective.
You
know, because as we grow up, like you're saying, like there's a whole bunch of like logistical things to being a grown-up, but at the essence, like when you're a kid, you have so much that you want to do. Like the world is new. The world is new, and you have all these like wondrous ideas, and there's so much you want to do, and your creativity is so free-flowing, and there's no restrictions, and you can think of all these wild things that you want to do. And as an adult, like in my mind, you just get to do everything you thought of when you were a kid, you know, like because now you're an adult, you can intentionally put those things into place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, a lot of adults, like, you know, the world, it gets heavy, you know, like
Very heavy.
and the reality of things sink in, but I personally like would never want to lose that like childlike wonder,
Of course.
and just the way of like looking at the world in awe. You know, I don't want these colors to get muddied and to get dim, to lose their life, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would want to put into my art as
Oh
well.
yeah, most
You know,
definitely.
those things, because a lot of artists, or yeah, I mean, a lot of artists, they focused on, like you said, like a depressive, more so heavy side to life. But like, I really want to emphasize and like, what's it called? Be a promoter of resilience and like overcoming and
Right.
pushing forward, and just like, yeah, you can break barriers, you can overcome, you can evolve.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we need.
That's all that we need. You
Yeah.
know, it's really important in today's age. You know, where I feel like it's so much nihilism and just like, you know, a lot of people having a really, I guess, dark perspective on the way that things are in the world right now, especially in America. Oh my God, like Jesus, I feel like just, I don't know. I just feel like having a positive outlook on the way of life, especially through your art, could definitely just make a huge difference, you know, with the people you associate with, you know, how you see life, you know, just your overall mental being, you know. I feel like just having that positive outlook and just pushing the message forward to others is really beneficial to having, you know, a really bright future. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so nah. So it's okay to take a second, because
Oh yeah,
we
for
talked
sure.
about so much.
Oh yeah, this
But
is great.
okay, so feeling. Let's talk about feeling when you're making art. You know, does your mind go blank? Is that like a safe space for you where you get to like escape? Or
In a way, yes, but also in a way, that's when my mind runs the most rampant. You know, I feel like everybody has their own like unique way of creating. I feel like there's not really a way to like really pinpoint what's the norm when people create. I know a lot of people. I made like a Instagram post about like what people like to listen to when they create. And, you know, I surprisingly heard like a lot of people say they like to work in silence. You know, they like to let their thoughts run rampant. You know, just put it all on the canvas or the paper. And I feel like
interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say that's really interesting. You know, and to be able to do that, and to also just, you know, I guess just focus on what you're creating at the same time. Just taking, I guess, everything that's up here in your head and just applying it to the paper in a way, you know, feeling wise, and I guess just what you know prior to just art, technical wise, and all of that. But I feel like I just kind of, I do the same thing, but I also have music. Music is definitely like one of the most, I guess, motivational things for me when I create. A piece can definitely be affected by the music that you listen to, in my opinion.
For sure.
So
I feel that too.
Yeah, I definitely try to keep it. I have a wide selection of genres of music that I listen to. I typically try to keep it, you know, between like R&B, alternative. Whenever I'm having like a breakthrough moment in a painting, sometimes I'll turn on like some trap or some hip hop or like something that'll get me going. But I don't think I ever really stay in a stagnant state when I paint. I usually, you know, I'm always just either, you know, doing like a little shoulder shimmy or like a little, you know, a little dance or something. You know, I usually like recite lyrics. You know, I kind of just try to have fun with it, you know, try to be like as loose as possible while still maintaining, you know, what keeps my art, you know. I feel like, I feel like just having like a base basis for how you create. Just the overall consistent basis can definitely make you have like a lot of consistent work, consistently great work. I always want to be in the best mood possible when I create. And even when I don't, I try to put those heavy thoughts towards the paper, as long as I'm like always creating, I feel like no method of creating is really a bad method,
Yeah, because emotions, like, they can influence, like the way you're moving your arm, moving your hand, like with the brush.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's fire.
Yeah.
And just like listening to music. I listen to music all the time. Like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
People not listening to music.
Yeah, it's a surprising amount of people. I was like,
here?
What?
You heard that from people here?
I've seen it from people here, actually. When I used to work in the studio up on the 5C hall, these like the 2 classrooms, I would usually go in there late nights, and I would see a lot of people working with no headphones or anything, just straight silence, and I'm like,
I might need to try that.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's definitely interesting. I would definitely try it as well. I want to see how it really affects my art, if it does at all, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting method.
Yeah, and I feel like as artists, like when we're working on a piece, or just personally, like I go through so much when I'm working on this thing. Like whether I'm, working on it, I leave, come back to it, with a different perspective. Like just the way that life goes, like there's so much that I'm taking in from other people and just the world around me, classes, interactions I'm having, that it's like it all like affects the piece, because at the end of the day, like this is a part of my soul, you know, like this piece right here, like this is me right here.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Do you feel that too?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I try to get just my overall, I try to be myself when I paint, I never try to be somebody that I'm not, and I feel like that's what makes my pieces so successful, because you can see, you can definitely see like parts of me inside of a painting. I'm not trying to mimic this guy or the other guy. I'm trying to see like how I see life, how I see form, how I see shape, how I see light, how I see color, and I try to put that on the canvas for everybody else to see. I try to give that type of perspective for like a wide array of audience, so they're just like, oh, that's, like I said, like that's Dylan's work, that's his, warm style, his very geometric or organic, style. Just, that's how he makes,
Yeah. So, like, I know that you're doing really well in on social media right now, right? On Reels. Let's talk about, like, tell me your journey with that. Like, what are you seeing that's working?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of trial and error. I feel like I'm definitely getting into the groove of it. I started doing reels like around the time I started painting. I think my first reel, one of my first reels was like a watercolor portrait of this Asian couple. They both have like red bobs. Maybe they'll put it up on the screen. But that was my first watercolor painting. That was my first painting. Like. As an academic painting, I guess that was my first time doing a painting. Took me 2 weeks, by the way. But that reel didn't really do as well as I would like it to. I think it only has like, at the time I posted it, I think it had like maybe 500 views, something like that, like maybe like 30, 40 likes. So I kind of took a break from reels for a little bit. I would still post it like every now and then. But they weren't really reels that kind of gave, I guess, my spin on the whole art scene. I didn't really make something that people would really resonate with. I kind of just did the bare minimum, I just said, here's my art. Do you like it? It's basically what it was. And,
buy it now? Like...
Yeah, I was about to say, like, and I feel like, when you're just scrolling through reels in the art world, there's thousands, millions of posts that are just like, here's my art, do you like it? There's not really something that separates just like a specific piece from people just like not saying like, oh, I like it, okay, scroll. Oh, I don't like it, just scroll, you know. I feel like there should be like a little bit of, you know, like added pizzazz in there.
Yeah,
you know?
personality.
A little bit of, personality, a little bit of commentary, if you will, you know. Like, even like a little bit of like controversy, you know. I posted something the other day with oil paints versus acrylic paints. You know, just having something that gets people talking, not just about your art, but just about, you know, their own art or just art in general. I feel like that's a really key factor in creating successful reels, and not even reels, but just advertising for yourself. So I definitely like lean more into putting my personality into reels, you know.
Yeah.
I still have these type of posts where I'm just, you know, doing like a large painting reveal, just turning around, just saying like, oh, you know, here's my painting, you like it? But I also have like these added reels where it's like, it faces the topic of like, you know, or not the topic, but it does have like a sense of relatability, or something that's like a good conversation piece, or something that's like really digestible to not just a niche art audience, but a wide, varying, like just all types of artists. So I'm not just trying to cater to just painters. I'm trying to cater to just, you know, all types of art, everyone, not even just artists, everybody, you know. I've seen like one of my reels do like, I think it has like 2.4 million views right now. And it was just like, you know, a little something simple about like a graduation cap that I made back in high school.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Literally, man just showed his graduation cap, kicked it, 2.4 mil.
Yeah, like, you know, I feel like having that sense of, you know, hey, I'm just like the rest of you guys, you know, I'm creating art, you know, I'm doing amazing things and all of that, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm just
person.
You know, I'm just a guy, you know.
Some random
I'm
guys.
into the same things that you're into. You know, I draw similar inspiration from the things that you and I are both around every single day. It's just how about we go about that and show that to the world, I guess. But yeah, definitely. It was definitely a process, you know. I think some of my older reels, when I got back into making reels, like the start of the year, and they were doing all right, like maybe like 1,000 views here. Maybe
Have
like
you done like any research into posting reels? Like I was doing some research and I saw something that was like the industry standard or whatever is like 7 reels a week. You know, for YouTube, it's like 1 video a week minimum.
Yeah, I feel like that consistency is a good thing, but I feel like the actual content that you're pushing out is
More
definitely, is definitely the deciding factor of if you're gonna blow up or not. Because you could create, you know, 7 reels a week or like 5 reels a week, but does it really reach people?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that should be the most
Is it quality?
the most beneficial thing about it is if it's reaching people. Is it something that people can resonate with? Is it something that people will watch again, you know? So I try to create like these digestible reels, try to keep it between like, you know, like 8 to 12 seconds, if even that long. Something that people can just, you know, rewatch, send to a friend, you know, be like, hey, check this out, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my whole philosophy on it. I've done a fair amount of research, probably not as much as people would probably think I have. It's mostly just trial and error.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
It's a big thing, bro.
Yeah.
People overlook. It's like you can do all the research in the world, but you just got to start doing it.
Yeah, you just got to start applying it. You know,
Facts.
it's really. This algorithm is just weird in a way. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you want to start doing like more long form content?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, with school, it's a lot going on with school, as you know. So I probably won't really start to do long form till like maybe like the winter break or something. But I'd have like a lot of film, like friends that are film majors that are like, you know, whenever you want to do a long form video, just hit me up for editing. So I think definitely like using those resources as well, not just, you know, putting all the workload on yourself for long form videos is a very beneficial thing. It's definitely something I would start to look into as well.
Developing a team.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like that's the next steps. Yeah, you know, the vision is definitely there. It's just like whether we want to, you know, I guess just apply it, push it forward, you know, taking it one step at a time, you know. I don't really want to overwhelm myself right now because it is, a lot of things have changed, you know. I don't really have the time, the free time of my day anymore like I used to freshman year, sophomore year. But in a certain way, I feel like it's all, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just change. And I feel like change all the time isn't bad, you know, especially when it requires you to develop your skills. So
evolving. Yeah,
evolution. That's the whole.
You talking about just like having more art to do? Or projects?
Yeah. A lot of things in the works. I don't even know if I can announce it, but I have like a mural for Stone Mountain Park down like maybe 30 minutes down that I'm developing right now. We're getting like our final prices together finally, because I was supposed to do it over the summer break, but I guess some stuff happened with like their marketing team or whatever. But I have that in the works.
You got that through SCAD?
No, I worked at Stone Mountain Park. You know, I worked there for about like I worked there for about a year, then I took a year off, and now I'm working there again, or I worked there again, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back. But but once they found out that, you know, I was an artist and, you know, I was doing all of these amazing works, and, you know, I kind of just presented myself to the CEO of the park, and he was absolutely in love with the work, so he requested a mural. So hopefully I can get that done as soon as the break starts. I'll definitely, you know, keep an update on that. But along with that, you have like commissions, you have I'm starting to develop prints now, because I feel like that's a huge market that I have yet to tap into.
Etsy, right? Something like that?
Printiful, it's called, or Printify, either Printiful or Printify. But I did have an Etsy page back in the day though, around the time that I was doing my little Spiral Arts Center little, I guess, classes. But obviously I didn't know what I knew now about like the wonders of marketing and advertising, so it didn't, I think I only sold like maybe 1 or 2 pieces on Etsy, but I would definitely try it out again. But yeah, just developing prints, you know, getting these commissions in, you know, it's definitely been a huge change for me. But I feel like once I take a step back, you know, start to organize, rearrange, or assess the situation, start getting things in order, I feel like it's gonna really take off.
That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talented artists, you know, like there's a lot of really talented people who are like skilled technically and who can do all these amazing things, but like a lot of them don't put themselves out there, you know, like a lot of them are very what's the word, introverted and don't really like to talk. So like obviously you're gaining some success and like, you know, you're gonna keep that momentum going. Like what would you say like separates, and also a lot of people have like negative mind frames, like what would you say separates the people who make it versus the people who don't?
In this day and age, definitely putting your stuff out there. I've seen some amazing works, even in this school, even in our class, you know, you have some amazing developing talents that, you know, just don't really push themselves or their work out there to the point where they can get noticed or be like the next big thing in the art sphere or the art verse, you know, because they definitely have the chops to do it, you know. I feel like just having that confidence in yourself and in your work definitely separates, you know, just an okay artist from like the next world-renowned artist, you know. Because if you don't have confidence in your own work, how would you ever expect people to have confidence in, you know, your work, you know?
Facts.
I feel like just pushing yourself out there, you know, going to these art shows or, you know, getting on social media, you know, that market yourself, and just talking to people, I feel like communication is key, letting people know, like, hey, this is what I do. I work really hard on it, you mind checking it out? I feel like just having like a simple interaction like that really separates, a known artist from an unknown artist. It definitely comes with like social skills. I feel like presenting yourself and marketing yourself is maybe like half the job of being a creative in the painting sphere anyway. I feel like, just pushing yourself out there and, having that, I guess, hunger for, saying, I want to be the next best thing. How am I going to do that? I feel like just having that hunger really separates, from here to all the way up here.
Did you ever struggle with like putting your stuff out there?
Not really. Not really.
Or like having that anxiety? Like I have a lot of friends who want to start things, but they're like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get judged, or this and this.
And I mean, even if you do get judged, I feel like judgment is good. I feel like having those eyes on you, whether it be good or bad work, can definitely cause you to. You can either lie down, not do any of that again, and just get your self-esteem crushed, and do something like that, or you can learn from that. Develop your skills. Say. Instead of like, rolling over and just, playing dead, saying, what don't you like about this piece? What can I improve on this? What are some techniques that you can give me to develop and to making the best work that I can possibly make? So I feel like any type of judgment, any type of eyes on your work, whether it be good or bad, I feel like just getting the advertising out there and just pushing yourself out there is key. In this day and age, especially, I don't know how they did it back in the day, like the Picasso times.
They didn't, bro.
50s.
You just had to get like recognized. By somebody,
I was
right?
about to say, you just kind of just have to go get it, and I feel like it's definitely. If you have struggles with it, it's definitely a struggle. I won't lie and say that, just do it, you just got to do it. It is definitely a struggle. It is definitely, you have to get comfortable with presenting yourself and your work. And, SCAD definitely does a good job of having like these extra sessions called like SCAD Amp, where they like help you present your work. But getting your stuff out there, I feel like is like it's key. It's definitely key. It's a learning process, with my first art show, I was really very silent. I'm not gonna lie. I would see people look at my work, and I would just kind of look at my work, which is kind of odd looking back at it. I didn't really like introduce myself and be like, hey, I see you noticing my work. I'm the artist. What do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? I would kind of just have like that little sense of social anxiety, but I feel like just constantly just interacting with people, just saying, you know what, I'm gonna, walk up to this person, introduce my work. I see that they're doing something similar to what I'm doing. I want to get to know them. I want to get to know like their process and all of that. I feel like that's just putting yourself out there. I feel like that's what separates, somebody who's hungry, somebody who wants it, from somebody who's just like, I'm not really too sure about myself. I feel like you just have to be sure about yourself.
Confidence in yourself, in your decisions.
Yeah, trust yourself. Trust your art. Trust yourself.
One thing I've been thinking lately is just like, there's one moment, like I'm in this one moment, and then when this is over, like I'm thankful for this, and then I'm just gonna allow myself to move on to the next moment.
Right.
So even if you, in the beginning, it can be harder to like have maybe that full confidence that you want to have, but you're still making an attempt. So so you don't like completely get crushed after an attempt. You can be like, okay, this happened, now I'm gonna allow myself to just move on to the next thing.
Right.
Because even if you don't do well now, there's always another opportunity.
Absolutely.
Always another opportunity.
Even when like, I'm just keep going back to my first art show, but even when I didn't sell anything in my first show, I was crushed. Everybody else around me was getting, you know, in the art show, whenever you make a sale, the curator would put like a red dot on your, I guess like, it's like the little piece of paper that, you know, describes the work, the price of the work, the dimensions of the work. They would get like a red dot or a red sticker placed on it, and everybody around me had like red dots on their work except mine's, and you know, I was kind of crushed for a little bit, but you know, instead of rolling over and, you know, saying like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, you know, I kind of looked at everyone else's work and says, or asked myself like, what made their work so noticeable? You know, was it how the mediums that they use, the techniques, the subject matter? Is it because they, you know, talk to people more? Is it because they're more of a known artist? You know, I kind of just took all those things into how I developed my next pieces. Because it was a charcoal piece, the piece that I had in my first art show. It was a charcoal piece, but it was something that was more personalized towards me, in a sense. I don't think it was something that, you know, really had a chance to sell. It was like, if you put it up here, it was like a little charcoal. It was a huge charcoal piece, actually. I think it was like 5 feet, a 5-footer charcoal piece. It was like illustrating like an internal struggle with myself. You know, at the time I was, you know, having like really heavy thoughts, you know, kind of depressed, you know, depression and all of that. But I decided to put it on paper for everyone else to see, you know. It was a beautiful piece, you know.
That's brave, bro.
Yeah, it was a beautiful piece. 5-footer. It was like 3 of me in a constant like kind of skirmish and a struggle. And it was amazing. I got lots of compliments for the whole art show, but you know, it didn't sell because I feel like it wasn't really something that resonated with viewers personally. I feel like it was something that resonated with myself personally. And you know, that is a good thing in making art, you know, making stuff that you know, you enjoy. But I feel like in order to sell yourself or sell your stuff and sell yourself, you also want to make stuff that everyone else can, you know, pull from and enjoy and relate to as well. You know, not just closing it off to, you know, just yourself or like your little a sphere of people. I feel like having something that's like more widely available for people to digest definitely makes a huge difference in that. And that's something that I developed, you know, making stuff that was not only personal towards me, but something that people can also enjoy, you know, digest as well.
Yeah, not only having those like personal pieces for yourself, which is cool, but also having those pieces to push out.
Right. Yeah. Most
to
definitely.
The world.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you wanna, bruh, I just had this one question in my head. I went away.
Take your time. Come back.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know, man. Good. What else? What else do you want to talk about?
Shit. I mean, I guess going back to like the long forms of videos, even though I don't really have much else to say about it. I just feel like, yeah, it is like tapping into the. Oh, you got it.
Yeah,
you got it. Okay.
So,
let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to like work on a piece for like like 20 years? You know, like people they'll work on things for like multiple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have those thoughts of like, I'm gonna work on this a little bit a day, a little bit a week, whatever?
I have had thoughts. Yeah.
Maybe 20 years later, you show it.
I have had thoughts of doing like a huge piece like that. It would have to be like insane, like something like that would just be like absolutely insane. But I feel like a piece like that, you can't really rush into something like that. I feel like I have a lot more to develop, not just in like skill-wise, my art skill-wise, but just like having a message that I want to put out that's like worth working on it for 20 years. Is it something that I can see myself still being passionate about in like a few months from now, something that I still want to work on. You know, do I have the space to work on that? Do I have like the materials to work on that? Do I have, you know, I guess the time, you know, that's a big thing with art school. Do I have the time to work on that?
Yeah.
I can definitely see myself doing something like that. I just don't have an idea of what something like that would be, because it would definitely have to be meaningful.
Yeah, facts.
Definitely something that I feel like should reach the audience, not just with its scale, but with its message as well. Because I do feel like I'm moving up in like the scale of my paintings. You know, my first few paintings was like, you know, like a little 18 by 24, or like a 20 by 36, or 20 by 32. I think that's what they sell. But I feel like, I feel like I am moving up in scale. So I feel like with that definitely comes like more thought put into your pieces. You know, you don't want to, you know, waste this beautiful 5-foot canvas, you know, on anything. You have to plan out, do sketches, do mock-ups and all of that. But sure. I definitely would have, you know, I would do something like that in the future. Yeah.
Do you also do series? Want to do series of works as well?
Yeah.
Telling stories?
Yeah. The whole thing with like developing my art style is like, I kind of want to make a series of just stuff in my style. I'm still developing the style, admittedly. But once I have it down packed, hopefully by like, if not the end of this year, then in the senior year, I definitely want to move into creating like series of stuff, or stuff that can have its own little solo collection, solo galleries, solo viewings. But yeah, definitely, it's not a main priority of mine right now. I feel like just having fun with it, you know, developing stuff that, you know, connects with me, you know, stuff that I'm inspired by, is like the main priority right now. But I feel like even with doing that, having just like inspiration from your life could be a series itself, you know. Having like a piece about a cookout, or like a football game, or a basketball game, or like school, childhood, playing with, you know, I used to play with Legos and, you know, Hot Wheels, you know, something that like convinces or pushes the narrative of like, I guess, child wonder. I feel like that would be like my first series. I feel like
that's awesome.
I feel like I have like a lot of good childhood memories that I can draw from. No pun intended. That I can like pull from and like, you know, put into like a series that people can, you know, relate to and be like, oh, I remember building Legos. I remember, you know, eating I don't know, like peas.
Nostalgia.
Like nostalgic pieces. I feel like that's that could be something that I can develop with my style, and something that can definitely work for me in the future. Because there was an artist that he recently had a show near like the Lenox Mall. He had a gallery. What was his name? Frank Morrison. He does a lot of like these nostalgic pieces, you know, children in school exploring like a junkyard, or going roller skating with your family, you know. I really did feel inspired by his work. I wish I had the chance to meet him, but I couldn't go to his opening reception. But, you know, having those type of pieces and just being inspired by those type of pieces to develop your own work and your own style, I feel like that's key for creating series and collections as well. Yeah,
bro. It's great to get inspired. Definitely been inspired by this conversation.
I'm glad.
I'm glad
me too. I'm very glad that you had me on the podcast. You know, this is my first time like talking about art for more than like 10-15 minutes, so I definitely feel like I not only had a new perspective of like what you expect out of art, but what I myself expect out of art. You know, I kind of just let my thoughts just flow out my mouth, I guess. Same. You know, so I'm really glad that I had a chance to be on the podcast.
For sure, bro. So like, you know, as a closing question, what is, or not a question, but statement, whatever, like what is just some advice, you know, you would give to all the aspiring artists out there, you know?
Definitely take the risk, whether that be, you know, talking to this one person, getting in contact with like a curator, developing a new medium or new skills in a new medium, trying out something new. Just definitely take the risk, you know, whether that may be something that you would want to do, something that you don't want to do. I feel like just having that sense of adventure, sense of wonder is something that, you know, maybe it won't work out, but again, maybe it would, you know, the only way to really figure it out or really to know is just to do, you know. I feel like just doing, to try, you know. I feel like just trying and doing, or not even trying. I feel like, what's the quote Yoda said in the Empire Strikes Back? You know, he's like, do or do not. There is no try. So I feel like doing,
do or do
just
not.
definitely do. You know, not even or do not. Do, don't do not.
Yeah.
Do.
Just do.
Yeah, just do.
All right.
But yeah, man. Hey.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh shit.